know, I brought this up and I brought my glasses, but I'm gonna do a Dave Jenkins and I'm just not gonna do it. But I'm not gonna do 35 minutes like Dave Jenkins. I love Dave too. But I wanna say that, you know, some of you probably know that my association with Arthur Lee, but I wanna thank, is Janet still here? Janet Gray right there. Janet started the We Love Arthur Lee online Facebook page, which is really awesome. It's all these Arthur Lee fans going, and she started it, and she's an old friend, and she is an old school music person. It was so good to see you, because I haven't seen you in ages. Yeah, thank you. So anyways, a lot of people ask me, like, how did you start to play with Arthur Lee? Like, what happened, you know? How did that come about? And it's a question I'm asked about a lot, so I'm gonna try to speed this up too. So, I have a music partner named Rusty Squeezebox, and we've known each other since we were teenagers. We played in competing bands, and I was in a band called Bad Press, and he was in a band called Ock9, and like we were like, you know, my band's better than your band. And then one day, I said, why don't we start a band, you know? And we started this band, and then eventually became Baby Lemonade. And we started this band, and we auditioned people, and I said, well, I know a drummer I played with a couple years ago, a guy named David Green, who used to play in a different band. I played bass in that band briefly, and I quit. But he had just moved out to LA in 1989 from Minneapolis. He's working at Aaron Records. You guys remember Aaron Records? Right. So Rusty and I and Dave Green, okay, we can start this band called Baby Lemonade. We need a bass player. This guy comes in, his name is Henry Lou, and I worked at a record store and called Moby Disc Records, and he comes in and he buys the Clash London Calling and a Squeeze record and a Love record. And I go, dude, you don't play bass, do you? And he goes, yeah, as a matter of fact, I do. So he becomes a de facto bass player. So we start rehearsing and stuff, and our friend Jeff says, you guys are writing some songs, you should do a little demo tape. So we do a demo tape with 5 songs on it, and it's just our tape. He goes, okay, we're gonna duplicate this tape. We're gonna go to our friend, we're gonna make duplications. Everybody keep like 5 copies on them. So I was the only guy who did it. No one else had copies. So one day I'm working at the record store. This is November 1992. This is about a week after my birthday. And this guy comes in, and he walks up with every Arthur Lee and Love record we have in the record store. I go, you must be a really big fan. He goes, actually, I'm Arthur's agent, and he's playing at a club down the street called At My Place. Who remembers At My Place? Okay, so Arthur Lee's playing at My Place, and he goes, I'm buying these. I'm going to give them to all the journalists because I want them to like write up, you know, for the LA Weekly, the LA Reader, all this stuff, and LA Times. So I gave him a discount. I said, listen, I'm in a band. We're huge fans of Love. So would you take my demo tape, and maybe if Arthur likes it, maybe we can open up for him. He goes, sure, kid. This guy he was old school. He used to manage like Canned Heat and all those bands. He had a Trans Am. He used to go to the track, bet on horses. This guy was like old school, all polyester, just like hilarious, right? So that was November 1992. February 1993, Baby Eliminated just played our first gig at this club called Nomads, which used to be a club called Club 88. Who remembers Club 88? Yeah. Smelly cat piss. Who remembers the cat piss? Yeah. All right, okay. So he goes, hey man, the band that's opening up for Arthur April 29th at the Troubadour, they backed out. They can't do it. Do you guys want to do it? So Jeff says, they'll do it. He calls up and says, hey, Arthur's agent wants you, Baby Lemonade, to open up Troubadour April 29th. Cool. We get all our friends out there. We go. We play. As we're playing, if you've been in Troubadour, you realize the dressing room it's clear. You can see. Arthur's watching the whole show. And the speakers, you can hear the band. He's just checking it out. And I'm like, kind of nervous, but I'm like, all right, cool, he's digging it. So after the show, we go upstairs, right before Arthur does his set. And he says to me and Rusty, he goes, hey, young bloods. Hey, man, I dig your band. Listen, you guys, your group remind me of my band, my original band, Love. I dig you cats, okay? Right, cool, man. All right, good, cool. So Arthur plays a set, and it's actually, he's got a really young drummer, this guy named Justino. He's like in his 20s, and he's got his old school guys from the 70s, Robert Roselle on bass, and Melvin Whittington on guitar. So he plays that, plays really cool, like great, hug out, go home. Cool, we open up for Arthur Lee. Get a phone call the next day. Hey, you guys wanna jam? So we're like, okay. So we get together at our drummer's house in Baldwin Hills, David Green's house, and it was actually a studio. He converted his garage to an 8-track studio, so there's mics everywhere. So Arthur shows up. We happen to know 5 love songs already. And we did like Orange Skies, Lincoln or something like that. And he killed it, and it was great. And he's like, hey man, you guys want to be my new love? And then we said, yeah. And then he said, you guys bootleg my shit? I see mics, you guys bootlegging my shit? Like, no, Arthur. And so we did that, and that was 1993. 2 months later, we played July 3rd at the Whiskey. It was Arthur's big comeback show, sold out. And I've been doing that for 30 years. I'm 56 years old, and I'm still doing it. And thank you guys very much for having me.